The NeuroDADverse podcast is produced by Squid Shack Studios.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Dan.
We're both fathers,
We're both married.
and we're both raising kids with diagnosed neurodiverse conditions.
Parenting is tough, and we're not saying it's harder for us, just different.
And sometimes that different can be hard to explain.
That's why we've created the NeuroDADverse, a weekly show where we share our wins, our challenges, and all the neurosparkly and neurospicy bits in between.
Our hope is to create a safe space for parents to share their own highs and lows of neurodiverse parenting. And just to remind you of three things.
You're doing great,
You are enough.
and you're definitely not alone.
So welcome to the NeuroDADverse. Afternoon, pal. How are you?
Hello, mate. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Had a good week.
Well, this is what this is for. We'll find out, won't we?
I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Do you want to should we dive straight in? And classically, for a podcast about neurodiversity, we didn't keep to the schedule of the last couple of weeks. I don't think we tried to sum up the week in 3 words. So do you want to give that a go this week, or do you want to skip it?
No, I'll give it a go.
If I put you on the spot.
Yeah, you put me on the spot. So I'm going to go with list of actual one word, there's more like phrases. I'm going to go with sad, but not fully the full meaning of the word sad. Breakthrough and joy. So sad,
Wow.
breakthrough, joy.
Oh,
It's
I'm
been a
glad.
week.
I'm glad we brought this back because this is good. I'm gonna go with nostalgia, triumph, and like passage.
Okay.
Moving.
And are they related to your wins and challenges of the week? Because mine are.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
fine.
I've
Okay,
thought
cool.
I've thought about this, Dan. I've thought about it.
Right, brilliant.
But here are the things that may or may not turn up in my wins and challenges this week. Oscar has an end of year school report. We attempted to have a table dinner, so 4 of us around a table last night, and watch a movie together. And also
In the same night, so dinner and movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also Mabel and I watched England in the quarterfinal in the middle of the week. So those things will end up either in my win or my challenge bucket.
Ooh, okay. Tease.
Well, I think that's quite fun. Maybe it's awful and you don't like it, but we'll see how it goes. What about you? What's in your buckets potentially this week?
Oh, put me on the spot again. I like it though. I like the format. So what may or may not be in my wins and challenges this week? Sports day.
Oh, nice.
Family birthday party. And I think that's really pretty much all we've had. Yeah, that's pretty much my week. So maybe that's not too much of a spoiler, just more of a
Exciting. I
trailer
like it.
towards. So do you want to go first?
Yeah, cool. Well, first of all, I would say that it was a lovely, joyful thing to see you in person this week. Little thing, if you've been listening to the previous episodes, I'd met Frankie on one occasion, which was the playoff final that kind of we went to and spawned this conversation and podcast. But I went again because we just hung out socially on in the middle of the week, and Frankie opened the door. You opened the door, and Frankie was there, and he immediately held out his hand and walked me to the trampoline. Now there are a couple of, probably 3 reasons why I couldn't trampoline. The first being that I was literally there to go, "Hi, how you doing? Shall we go?" And the other 2 being both of my knees, which mean I probably am not such a trampoline. However, that was just a lovely little interaction because I was remembered by Frankie. So that's why, and obviously we hung out and chatted about what seems like a different life ago. So that's where my nostalgia came from. But anyway, so win or challenge? What is the? Here it is. report. I've got it out. So
Oh,
they basically give you progress, and that's for Oscar's school. So on target, above target, below target, and effort goes unsatisfactory, satisfactory, good, excellent. So uh, long story short, this is in my win column because everything is on target and effort is either good or excellent for everything. And I can't tell you how boringly normal it feels, but also brilliant it feels. Like I opened it and almost dismissively went, "Okay, everything's going all right," and I put it down and I went, "Hang on, just hold it and look at it." And there's been a lot of emotional dysregulation, a lot of so year 8 is has been tough with Oscar for their identity. In fact, secondary school, just a mix of kids coming from mainstream primaries, and just some challenging things for Oscar to find out who they are. I think it's just tough. Key stage 3 is just tough for all kids, really. I've got to work out what's going on, lots of changes. So just sat in that joy for a bit and went, actually, hang on, this is normal. And we talked a little bit before about how the academic progress with we were talking about Frankie's report, and you were a little bit low about it that week. I remember us talking and just kind of trying to take stock and go, well, actually, from the diagnosis moment, your hopes for their future just kind of change. So it doesn't become about as much about that, about how they can kind of deal in those academic and social situations. So yeah, nice little win. I mean, it's not really super different. There are a few subjects where he wasn't putting in the like effort, if you like, last year, so that's improved. So yeah, big win, big
no,
win.
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how do they feel about it? Or is it something that they don't pick up on?
I think because I feel like Oscar's experienced burnout this weekend, like very solo experiences for Oscar because it's been a lot. So I haven't really approached it with Oscar, but I don't know. I think like there may be Oscar will probably go, don't care, because I don't really think they are particularly
Mm.
motivated by it. Um, but it'll be nice to share it with them. Just haven't really got around to it because I thought it will maybe dampen my joy a little bit if Oscar's not bothered. Um, but yeah, we'll do that.
No, it's amazing. Well, it's
Yeah,
been so
great.
it was end of school as well this week, right? So is that do you
For
think
Oscar,
that's
yeah, for
yeah.
Oscar, Mabel has like a day and a half next week, um, which she will be grumpy about, but she goes back
Because
late.
Oscar's off?
She goes back later, but she can't compartmentalize in a few weeks' time. So yeah. Which of your things were a win?
Oh, we're both doing wins back to back. I like it. So, my win happened yesterday. As most of the wins seem to do, they sort of come towards the end of the week usually. Or is it just because they're freshest in my mind?
Today.
It's silly. So, completely different. Week to last weekend. Last weekend, we got invited to a birthday party. To recap what we spoke about, my challenge last week was we went to a pub that we hadn't been
Yeah,
to
yeah.
before for a birthday party. And Frankie felt most comfortable in the adult only area of the pub, had no interest in hanging out in the back where the party was. So although he was happy, we just decided before it gets absolutely manic for lunch, we leave. Uh, Yesterday, it was his little cousin's 5th birthday in one of the pubs quite near us. He's had a few birthdays there already, so Frankie does know the pub. How well he
Right.
remembers it, we were going to find out. So initially, he was kind of we got a cab there because the weather was appalling. It was very up and down yesterday. It was torrential rain, then it was super hot, then it rained again.
Yep.
So although it was only a 10-minute walk, we ended up getting a cab, but he didn't want to leave. And we're like, oh no, we're a bit like,
So do you want to leave home or
yeah, he was just like, we go out to the car, we open the door, like one of us might get in or we just stand there.
yeah,
Normally
yeah, yeah.
he just runs out, which is what he does for his school transport. And I was like, oh, he doesn't. And then I said, Aim, why don't you go in? Because I went to the thing. And then he ran out. I locked the door. We got in. We went there. We got out. we got to the pub before the pub's really open because they were setting up. And he actually quite liked it in there. He found, as soon as he walked in, he made a lot of beeline for a table, which was
Nice.
a single table along the back wall, which is like a giant bench. And yeah, we basically stayed in there for an hour and a half. And he slowly did a circuit and getting one step closer to the door, one step closer to the door, one step closer to the door. He went outside like 2-3 steps, then ran back in. Then there's the bar, then there's there's a pool room, and then there's the outside area, which is where the party was. And someone started, a guy and his son come in, they were playing porn. I went, I don't think we're going to be going out there while they're here. About an hour and a half later, he then got the courage to go out just as the pub started to fill up, and he saw other children who were then arriving for the party go in. And he's like, oh, okay, maybe some FOMO kicked in. But he went out there, and I was like, okay, how long are we going to last? I was actually running off for an hour and a half to cover a local event that was happening because I didn't think we were going to be there for more than a couple of hours. We ended up getting home at 6 o'clock in the evening. He
Wow.
was on this trampoline running around the garden and sort of interacting with all these other kids for like 4.5 hours. So massive win. He
Amazing.
really, really enjoyed it. And then obviously we're now thinking, is it because it was a family barbecue? Like, is it like there was a barbecue / party? So I was like, is it
Yeah,
because he
yeah.
like recognized the family? Was it just that he felt it more this week? He didn't
Or
feel
you
it last week.
maybe he just needed that extra time to circle round and be like, I just need to assess this situation in this area. Hey, I
Yeah.
don't think it necessarily needs to be the topic of analysis. I think just had a nice time.
Yeah,
And
that's just my brain though. I'm
no, no,
always
no. Yeah.
analyzing things, but yeah.
Oh, this is
But
no, no,
yeah,
no. My point is to bring it back to the joy because it's your
it was
win,
amazing. Yeah.
and that's neurodiverse parenting, though. I think
Mm.
like this was great. How do I create the conditions to have it again?
Yeah, exactly. And I was just
And
like, it's just
I think that's what's quite crippling about it. Sometimes because it's often quite rare.
mm.
Not to say it's rare you have a nice time with them, but like those kind of normal things going to a social event
All
can
the
be
plan
dominant.
works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, that sounds great, mate.
Yeah. So yeah, just last week just couldn't quite get it working, and this week tried to calm him down, as it were. But yeah, so it was good, and it was nice because obviously, last week we would have liked him to stay just because it was it's a friend. Although they're really understanding, the family we can be like, look, if we last 10 minutes, they're like, yeah, it's cool, it's cool.
Yeah,
But everyone was saying it was really nice to see him having a good time and interacting, and didn't care about the weather because it did rain a couple of times. He just really really had a nice time, which was good.
nice.
So maybe we'll be going to that pub more often. And the other little thing as well that just really was a nice touch in the morning. So last week the staff were initially, I thought, oh, well, I might have
An issue,
altercations
yeah.
or yeah, and they turned out to be great at that pub.
Yeah.
This was really nice because we got there early. We had the landlord and then this other girl there, and as she came round, he was stimming and started to chat, and I said something, and she goes, if it's too much for him, I can always take him through to the kitchen, and because that's where I go to chill. She goes, I'm autistic too. So I'm like, went, obvious, straight away called it. He had his chew toy in, he's stimming, he's running around. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Thank you. She goes, yeah, I know it can get overwhelming. I go out to the kitchen area and just like sit on the floor and just chill. I'll quite happily do that with him. I went, oh, that's really nice. We didn't need it, but the fact that we had that extra level of, she's understanding. She's like, does he like to crunch ice? Because I like to crunch ice. The ice is actually quite soft, so it won't hurt. And I went, he loves to crunch ice. Like, I was like, Frankie, you've got a sister in the building. This is lovely. So that was just a nice little, because that doesn't happen every day that you get staff that are like on it. I am myself. I understand whatever you need. But yeah, they were all really lovely. So it was just a really lovely day.
Yeah.
It didn't matter that it absolutely funded it down twice for half an hour during the day. It didn't dampen our spirits. So
Love that. Love that. So, last night's dinner around the table and home cinema experience, kind of fits into, I guess, both buckets, really. It was a challenge because it just is. I think there's probably people with 2 teenage kids trying to maybe organise that. There's the additional challenges that we have is Oscar is not a social eater, really. They're okay if you get them there, but most of their experience has been solo eating on their own, under a blanket or in their room. Um, so the conditions, I still haven't worked out what the conditions are, but to try and organise it is interesting. And then what that kind of plays into is, well, Laura, Mabel, and I were unlikely to do that because Mabel will be like, well, if Oscar's not here, it's not really family. Can't I just do it on my own? And she kind of reasons with that. And if you try to put up any additional boundary, you get a fight when you didn't really need one because all you need is for people to eat food.
Mm-hmm.
But we have had parts of our history where it has worked. So, and that's the challenge of it's like kind of including, like trying to include Oscar with us socially or for those types of group times. So I did it quite well. I just got the food sorted and then told everyone like it's here. I'd laid it up for Oscar, like we're having table dinner. And so I did that. So it was ready for Oscar to come down and sit. We have like an empty plant pot, like the old plant pot. All the phones go in there. And yeah, that went off really well. We had to have some conversations about the end of the school year. Kids were just talking and we were just like letting them chat. Mabel got up and decided when she finished that she was gonna sing a song she's been learning, of course. Then I chanced my arm by going, shall we watch a movie? And they both said yes. So I went, okay, cool. And then so we went in and all sat and watched a movie. The phones stayed in the plant pot. They were first asleep 10 minutes before the end. And then everyone went to bed. It was just a lovely little win. But it's challenging because a bit like you, I'm trying to remember to create those conditions. And it can just be like a myriad of like, oh, the weather is difficult. They've had a tough day. They got a text message that they want to focus on right now. So yeah, it's not something we force them to do and feel bad about if we don't do. But when we do it without that heightened emotion, that sensory need, it is quite nice. It's quite nice. So yeah, but it's challenging because again, with the football, that was a lot. Thanks, England. That was a lot to go through for myself and Mabel. However, I wanted Oscar to kind of watch it too, but they were completely like, I don't think I'm going to do this. I don't really want to be bothered. I don't really want to be involved in it. So yeah, it's a kind of ongoing challenge really. I thought I'd highlight it because it's problematic because, you want to have those nice memories, but it sometimes takes a lot of work to get it, and you're not really sure what work will be successful or not. So yeah, it's a kind of bit of both in two buckets, but overall pretty solid wins. I really just don't think I can deal with that level of stress in the semi-final with Mabel. Like we were fine, but like I don't think she slept at all that night on that kind of adrenaline rush, and she was desperate for it, but like couldn't keep like track of what was happening. And we have next door neighbors have got like I think they're 3-year-olds. And I was like, need to try and keep silent, but during these penalties, I appreciate that's not going to be the case. Oh, can we try? Try and be respectful of other people. Yeah, no, good overall, but some challenges.
No, that's really lovely to hear, and yeah, I definitely resonate with you just want to have, although I hate the word, but a normal sort of experience. The amount of work and effort that can go into it. But when it works, isn't it beautiful? And also it's about like the school report as well. I suppose sometimes something that a slight difference, right? We say in our intro, parenting's hard. We're not saying it's any more difficult. It's just different.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you go through all that effort to try and make something normal again to happen, and you have like a okay experience / turnout, and you're like, oh, that was okay. But then when you look back here, you're like, actually, just pulling it off was actually amazing. And like, so, so something very mundane and simple with Frankie.
Trying to enjoy it in the moment is
Mm.
the big thing for me. Because you can, it means what it means is you can have more wins that are just kind of regular, like just being on target is a big win. It's great.
Yeah.
What was your challenge? So not the birthday party, but I can't remember what the other one was.
So challenge was actually sports day.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you have to remind me what sports day is.
yeah. So
Uh,
Sam Sports Day was really fun. No, the challenge
Interestingly,
was
we both of our kids had a sports day.
okay.
And it
Yeah.
just again, probably thankfully, didn't really hit any of the challenge or the win column really. So it was just a normal one. That's why it didn't come in. But so you had
Oh,
sports day.
so it just happened. That's
Yeah,
it.
it just
Your feedback
happened.
was
It just happened. No buckets, not going because I was fully ready for like this is where the win or the challenge is coming. I was like, oh, nothing really. It just went off okay. Anyway,
it was just a 5 out of 10, and that was it.
yeah,
Oh, lovely.
exactly. Sorry,
Um,
carry on.
no, it's fine. So yeah, we had so sports day, I think was on Tuesday afternoon. Which I was like, it's a bit early in the week, but it is what it is. They've got another couple of days next week as well. So Frankie, like Mabel, will
Yeah.
finish on Tuesday. But yeah, so we got there for 1 o'clock. Walking round. They let all the parents in. We slowly filter around to the field, and change from last year. They had activities all over the field last year. This year, very much focused on one side. I'm like, they've learned because obviously they want to run around, and it's a lot more. Just started watching Yellowstone, and it's like cowboys trying to, keep cattle in
Nice.
organized herds and whatever with the with the kids, mate. Um, the reason it was a bit challenging was Frankie didn't actually start. He didn't participate. We didn't force him to do it, but as they were bringing the kids out, they had music playing over the PA, and I'm like, he's just not a fan allowed. He scored great, fantastic. I have nothing but nice
Yeah,
words
of
to say,
course.
but sometimes they just do these little things, and you're just like. But obviously, it was only him and another kid, so probably 3 kids out of the 2 year groups. It
Okay.
was the Sen sports day. The school had their sports. The rest of the mainstream had their on another day. I was just like, "Oh, that's just one of his things. He's just not really going to vibe that." And then he was walked out. He just out of nowhere, all these parents started to appear. We were kind of at the back. Hindsight, we probably should have been a bit further forward. But yeah, he was just like, we could see him pulling away from his TA. He came out really happy, and the closer he got to the sound system, just wasn't vibing it. And then he just took us by the hand and took us back to his classroom, and the teacher went, "Are you okay to go in? If that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do." So she let us in with the key card into his classroom, and then we were hanging out with one of the TAs and one of the other kids in his class that didn't want to partake. Amy still made the parents' rates, though. She was adamant to try that. I was out through injury because I've got a bad knee at the moment.
That's all knees, isn't it?
Yeah,
Neurodiverse parenting and knees. Maybe
it's
that's
just
a
annoying.
sign.
Yeah, because I can't bounce either, which was like Frankie was like, "Please come bounce." But
Oh, yeah.
she actually missed the mum's race, but she went and joins the dad's race, and she did all
Oh,
right.
nice. Oh, good
So
stuff.
she did herself justice and did us proud. But yeah, that was really
If they're
and
allowing
that's kind of the
if they're allowing that, why not just have a parents' race?
well, they had a teacher's race, and then they had the mum's race, and I was like, "I'm quick." They're doing the mum's race, and she's like, "Oh, I've missed it." I went, "Go on, just go join it. The dads ain't gonna care. It's
No, of course.
well, some parents aren't going to care as much. There isn't. It's just a different
Yeah.
experience in it.
Um.
So,
Well,
but
that's
yeah,
nice.
so
I mean, I said that sports day went off without a hitch. Like Oscar didn't partake at all. But they at Oscar school they do a like summer fair where the kids all have made stuff and they
mhm,
can run a stall and sell stuff while
that's
the
so cool.
sports day is happening. So Laura went to that this week, and Oscar's kind of a bit like Frankie really like kind of like grabs Laura's hand and kind of walks her around. It's like this is my friend, this is my friend, this is my friend. This is this table we did this. He's a bit of a social butterfly. Laura used the phrase, and I think that lots of the other children are not with new
Right.
people. But they know Oscar, so it's like an odd, thing. So, but yeah, it's good. It's good that they accept the school clearly accepts. Well, some people might not partake, but yeah,
Yeah, I take that as a win. Like they're not, his score
and
very
that
good with
also
him and
staff
them.
staff at the school were also like, yeah, cool. Do you want to sit in the classroom, chill out, hang out? And they
Yeah,
offer that breakout space. Great.
Yeah, I think that was at the end of the day, like they need every member of staff that they can have. I'm happy to, we were happy to spend some
Mhm.
time within his classroom. He was showing us around a little bit, and
Yeah,
because
good.
we're not in there a lot, so. But yeah, it was just a little bit like, like he didn't quite get there because of external circumstances. But last year he did. Last year he took part in his own way, doing what he wanted. Like he didn't really stay with the herd. We were kind of doing whatever. So, but but yeah, and then I was like, oh, that happened, and then we're like, I don't know how the weekend's gonna go, and then the weekend turned out to be great. So maybe he just wasn't vibing it. Um, I'll find
Nice.
out next year.
Yes, of course. When you can do the mum's race. It's only fair.
Well, I can try.
Get that knee
One of the
rehabbed.
mums is well fast. I'm gonna be honest with you. One of the mums is really
If
fast.
you've
So,
if you've had fun, then you've won. Don't you use that
yes,
motto?
that's it.
I use
Yeah,
that motto at school during
that's
sports day. Some kids do not like it. They say that's the mentality of a loser. And I'm like, if I've had fun, how am I losing? Anyway, if you've had fun, you have won. Mabel doesn't like that either. She also says that's the mentality of a
well.
loser.
I must admit, I actually do share that mentality of if I've had fun, because I do play some of the I play um strategy games or whatever with my friends, or
Yeah.
different like card games or whatever. And I'm like, I don't have to win. It doesn't ruin my day not winning. I'll get frustrated and upset if rules are being broken and because of my injustice starts to kick in and like fairness and whatever. But like one of my friends, who is
Yeah.
one of my best friends, is autistic. He got diagnosed just before lockdown. Um, he's he gets really pissed off if I say that. He's just like, "Why would you do this if you don't want to win?" I went, "No, because as long as you don't win, I can be happy
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it really annoys him. So
That's
like,
fine.
but I think that is a unique mindset. But yeah,
Nice.
I can be
Um,
competitive, but
yeah. Is he also a parent?
no, he's not a
Okay.
parent. No,
Okay.
no.
Fine. Well,
Yeah.
either way, I was just thinking as a.
He's just competitive, which is
Yeah,
fine,
yeah,
and we
yeah.
we
Be
have
nice
good
to.
games and stuff. But sometimes I'm like, if he annoys me, I'm like, well, I don't care about winning now because I know that then annoys him, which then greatly
Yeah,
increases my chance of
it's
winning.
all good fun. Um, okay, cool. I don't think we pre-organized a big topic, so I don't I don't think we're going to dig necessarily into that this week. If you
Yeah,
don't
that's
want, we
fine.
can leave it till uh next week. So just before we think about what times you want to do uh or look ahead to the week ahead, my favorite my favoritely named segment of our podcast.
Yeah, we can do.
Cool.
And in theory, if you want to turn it into a little bit of a discussion, then because I'm quite interested in how people approach the summer holidays in particular, like Easter and Christmas
Ooh,
different because
okay.
Christmas is it's got Christmas in the middle of the holidays.
Yeah, yeah,
Easter,
yeah.
you can do activities that are Easter related. The 6 week summer holidays is a
That's
challenge. So
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Um,
So my week
yeah,
ahead
nice.
is the summer is looming. As of Wednesday, it's summer holidays. How people getting on with that? So
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Let's dig into that before the look ahead to the week ahead.
okay. So my week ahead is 2 days of school and then three
Yeah.
days of no school and no school for a long time.
Okay.
Um, so it will be the challenge with a short week for Frankie will be he kind of on Monday when we get out the uniform, I'm going to school today, cool. When Wednesday comes, it might be a bit like I've only been for school for 2 days. So the first few days can be high energy, but also kind of like working out what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, what our approach this year is we're definitely trying to have more of a rigid, well, not say rigid. We're trying to have a timetable in the sense of we're kind of trying to do some things on set days of the week every week to try and keep him in some kind of familiarity. Um, but also, yeah, so
That's
it's not one day on, one day off kind of thing.
yeah, in days, out days,
Um,
right?
mm.
Yeah.
What? How are you approaching it?
Um, yeah, good shout. We're having a bit of a sounds like I'm a business. Laura and I are having a bit of a meeting about it later. We haven't got anything booked in yet because Mabel doesn't finish till Tuesday, and that is going to be a manage enough in itself because then she doesn't see why she should go if I've finished and Oscar's finished. She also knows, having done 2 summers or 2 summers already, that the final day will just be games with her tutor. And quite frankly, she doesn't really like a lot of her kind of class socially. I say doesn't like. It's been a rough time for her in that school in that year. So why am I going to school to play, I don't know, Cluedo or watch Inside Out? And I think that's part of her neurodiversity. Like, why am I like? I'm not at school doing school stuff. Don't like the blur. So we wouldn't ever plan to do anything on the Monday or the Tuesday as a family with O without Mabel, because that will just kind of I'll build that jealousy, and not that that's a problem for her, but like, why would you? And then we have got a couple of things, social things that we've got planned. I don't know if I said this last week because I got my dates mixed up, but there's lots of our friends will attend Folkestone Pride. So we're going to go to that.
Nice.
And go to our friends for a barbecue. It's a big old day, big long walk through Folkestone. It's part of the march. Oscar's in this learning, they have a learning for life, which it kind of is like PSHE, but it's also like self-realization, self-actualization discussion stuff. And so it's about pride in your neurodiversity. It's kind of linked in with the LGBTQ plus community, not because those two things are interconnected, but there are, for some students, their identity is linked to that. So they do this really lovely, they've done really lovely work, particularly this year, on like identifying and advocating for yourself, and I think some like mask removal and having pride in who you are in the community, and there are some similarities there. So Oscar's pretty psyched about that. I don't know how they're going to both experience it. Of a sensory perspective, it will be loud. That's not necessarily an issue for either of our kids, but exhaustion might be there.
Are you going as a 4?
Yeah, all of us will. Yeah, all being well. Laura's got some shifts, and she's still trying to stick this cold that I had. I think again, also feeling a bit of burnout. It's been a lot, and the heat and all of that stuff, and just term 6 is often feels like it goes on for a long time for us as parents as much as the kids. So yeah, we will approach it as having in days out days, but then equally accepting that Oscar might request, I've just been asked, can I go play Mario Kart at my friend's house? And we'll have to do some like navigating on the spot, like which friend is this? Like, we have a little bit of a community about some of the friends, but it's mainly we mainly don't know people who Oscar will like to interact with, because mainly he interacts directly with them through online gaming. Oh, that's cool. So there's a bit of kind of safeguardy stuff there. Like, is it a stay and play? Can we drop? How long? So we have to be a little bit reactive to that. So we need to carve out some time for that. But also Mabel will kind of go, well, I'm not doing that today because I organised to go out with my friends. And we'll go, you didn't communicate that with us. So it's having a framework that's very loose. And kind of putting in, I don't know, let's go to these particular woods and have a walk around the woods with a dog here. So we can pick that up, move that up anywhere. We had a dinner time conversation about like, what are your fun activities to do that you have done before? So they were like, Dive was funny, and I was like, okay, would you like to do that again? They both said yes. I was like, okay, hold on a second. Both teenagers agreeing to do something together. Nice vibes. So we might do that, but yeah, it's very loose, and also super accepting that Laura and I will let ourselves off the hook. So many summers you get to bank holiday weekend in August, and then you spend the rest of the week, I didn't do anything, live by the seaside, why don't we go down there? And the answer is, that was a crap day for the kids. It was an awful day for them. They had tough days. And that meant we were exhausted, so we just didn't do something. So we just let ourselves off the hook. Sometimes everyone will be in separate rooms. They will have a device. We will reconvene and meet. They will come and say to us, I'm hungry. Okay, fine. Just letting ourselves off the hook and knowing the whole 6 weeks won't be like that. But not every day has to be this kind of like idyllic, go to the beach, do a big activity. Because that's not reality. But I would say if we were doing this podcast and the kids were in, I guess, year 5 and year 4, or year 4 and year 3, I would not be saying that. I would be, I think, very much in your shoes. Like, I've got to make sure I do this one day, one out, one in, one out. But I think just the experience I have is just like, they're pretty self-soothing. And if they tell me to get out of their space because they just want a bit of space, I'll just get out of their space. Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at NeuroDADverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves.
But, you know, I think that's lovely, a really good positive sort of mindset to have, and just to echo the be kind to yourself. That is
100%.
that is something me and Amy, we do in the heat of the moment. Sometimes you'd be like, "Oh, did we do much?" Like you say, did we do a lot this week? Did we do anything potentially that feels like it was game changing or exciting? But as I said sort of slightly earlier in the podcast, sometimes finding the really simple mundane things with Frankie where he
Yeah.
just absolutely loves, is worth more than trying to show on social media you're going out every day, and we're just not those sorts of people anyway.
Yeah.
But our general approach
Yeah,
this
but
year is just going to be day in, day out, and then just see how that goes and be flexy.
yeah. And also, if the day out is great, but needs 2 day-ins to get over, Frankie with the train track all out and will he'll have a great time. So you have
Yeah.
to remember, like, who's really, like, in their head thinking this is not a good summer?
Yeah, no, and again, it's little things like he actually did. So yesterday morning before we went out, he actually went over to his train track, pulled out the thing, and wanted us to build a track. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And maybe that just helped him calm down. But he can sit there. Like a few summers ago, I would build a track with these cars. We moved to trains recently in like the last year. And I'd be sitting there for like 6 hours a day, every day during the summer, or most days during the summer if we were in. I'd be building tracks the size of the living room, marshalling all these cars of different speeds, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I should film these and just be like, turn it into like actually edit them into races and whatever." Because I had to get into it. I had to make it a game for me to stay involved. So I'd be like timing them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they'd be like,
yeah.
"What did you do today?" I was like, "Well, we played cars." And it doesn't sound exciting, but in his head, he was happy as Larry. So
Yeah, which
if that's what we want, really. We want him to just have nice, happy days. He doesn't have to be all flash
because the
and bang.
answer is, I met my child's play needs
Mm.
and they had a wonderful day. Like, not like emotionally, but like they were without emotional dysregulation, they were without upset, and they did something for 6 hours that they loved to do. That's the real thing. But
Yeah.
the way you say it as a parent, you often go, "Not much."
Yeah, I sat on the living room floor
But
for 6
yeah, yeah,
hours.
yeah.
I had
Yeah,
breakfast,
no,
lunch, dinner. But yeah,
yeah.
we're definitely a lot kinder, to
Yeah, good.
ourselves now. But it's just one of those things when you're early in the journey, everything anyway, you're still learning on your journey. You're like reactions and obviously hormones and the journey always changes, but we understand him a lot better now. Do we understand him perfectly? No, but we can tell that
Yeah.
a day in is
So
what he needs and he's happy with it. And if he wants
so
to do more, he'll tell us. He'll go get his
yeah.
shoes, walk us to the
So
door, and I'll be like, we'll work it out.
if you ask me what I did yesterday, everyone was separate in their rooms. Oscar didn't come out of their room other than to come and ask if they could have some of their food. And so that's why I thought it was going to be a super challenge to get Oscar down for dinner. But I managed it not be. But had they only ever come out to ask for food, feels like, oh, well, it's just like having a pet or an animal. just give them food and shut the door again. But actually, they were advocating for themselves. They were self-soothing. They were on the game. They were doing what they
They
love to do.
wanted. Yeah.
Where's why am I putting myself in that space where they shouldn't have done that? And also, why am I giving the guilt? If 7 days in a row were like that, because it's very easy to shut the door and ignore, that's a different matter. But sometimes you just got to lose. So I'm glad you and Amy are doing that.
Yeah.
Important.
But yeah.
Cool.
Be interesting to hear how other people approach the summers and the weekends and long weekends, bank holidays, summer. Because always looking for ideas or how other people find it. Some people probably really like it. My son does like the routine of going to school, so they can. I can't replicate school. Basically, it's impossible to do. So,
yeah, but there will always be time off and daytime will be different when it.
Yeah.
Like the world's not made like school, so it's important to know. All right, so we should do bath check-ins.
Absolutely. Me go first, then, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, you better go first because I have to remind myself.
So we had a.
I don't think I did. I don't think I did it last week. No, that's right.
I
Yeah,
can't remember.
I did. I didn't.
Remember.
I didn't. Anyway, go on.
So we had a successful pre-pod recording bath today. It didn't take too much encouragement. That's the word I'm thinking of. Yeah. We've got a little bit of a win happening with basically at this sort of time he's starting to chill now. Since we went on our holiday, he now uses the iPad more. He likes watching YouTube. He's got the stuff that he likes to watch. So that helps him chill out better than watching the TV does, because the TV frustrates him because I'm trying to work out what he wants because he can't communicate verbally with me. But on the iPad, he can control it and do what he wants. So I just said, if I hold the iPad in here, he then watches the iPad in the bath and we get going. So I haven't yet done train needs a wash yet. Messy trains. But that has got what I'm going to fall back to. Like, I would like him to try and get in the bath without watching an iPad, but because obviously it's electric. It's also a work iPad. Like, I do use it for the odd job, so I'd rather it not get soaked. But more often than not, he's still a little bit hesitant on wanting to get in, but we have seen to work that he just wants to be distracted, I think, while he's in the bath. I don't think his heart is in it fully as it was a couple of months ago, where he would literally get in, lay down in the bubbles, and just love listening to my voice or our voices through the water.
But there's something there that you can use, and you can therefore say, you can shut the iPad down, say, when you finish wash, then iPad. Now, that can go badly, but if you keep consistent with it,
that's the key word.
Yeah, that will mean that it will become a normal.
Yeah.
But like I said, and anything, and to be fair, like messy trains is a thing in the garden on a hot day anyway.
Yes, I'm looking forward
and where's that train? Like, it doesn't have to be. It's just like you can make the thing a game. But that's not necessarily the greatest advice in the world, because it has gone absolutely horribly for me in the past. But I still manage to keep hold of some of those now.
No, and you don't know until you try. But I think also he's got a cut. He gets a little.
You mentioned this before. I was going to ask.
So he's got a different. We found out. So the big one on his toe is kind of healed now, but now he's got like a sort of cut across his big toe, and it's the foot he always puts in the water first. So I'm like, does he just go, because it might hurt? I'm like, use the other foot, but. So maybe he just wants the distraction of that, but now he won't be going to school. That we might be able to manage that a bit easier, because like our garden is like it's slabbed. It's got artificial grass, so he hasn't got anything to cut himself on. We're in school. I'm not saying that there's glass on the floor, but obviously he's my complete focus when I'm watching him. So we're there trying to make a class of kids happy. So he can stub his toe, catch his toe on toys and whatever. So it could just be that he's just like, do you know what, my foot stinks because I'm putting it in warm water, and I don't want to do that. And the iPad has helped.
and it's cooled off a bit. So
Yeah.
there's a sensory thing there, like
Mm.
I'm hot, like not putting those two things together, like this will cool me down or whatever.
But yeah, over the last week, we're trending in the right direction. After a couple of difficult
Neat.
weeks
Good.
of on off.
We, yeah, I remembered from, so Laura did bath last week.
So different to the norm.
Yeah, at Oscar's request. So as I told you before, Laura's least favorite place in the world to be is like a public swimming baths, changing room.
Mm.
It's too hot. It's also dry, but it's also
Humid.
wet, and there's
Mm.
noise, and there's a big sensory thing. And I think she's probably been the angriest with me as she's ever been in one of those scenarios, because I'm like, everything works better with the kids when I am calm and have a process. So stuff goes out, and if I remain calm, that sets that tone. The slowness of that really upset her. And she won't mind me talking about this because like we kind of laugh about it now, and that's what has led to her being overstimulated and deregulated in a bath scenario because it's similar. And you're trying to get a kid to do a thing, Oscar to do a thing, and as they're becoming teenage, like early teenage years, excuse me, that's really important. But she's found herself in a stressful environment, so we shifted it. So we had to do a little bit of like, she's like, so what do you do? And I said, it's just all intervals. Give them here's a toothbrush, and we squirt all of the shower gel all over his hand and all over the toothbrush. And he has to do his nails. And then we just use when then. So when I come back, then we'll do your next, like the next part. And then you put like a little timer on your phone if you want, and nip back out. Laura was like, if I do that, I'm worried I'll get distracted and not go back in because something else will come up. Sort of her traits coming out there. I went, okay, see if Oscar will tell you when they're finished with that task. Because they never do with me, but they have a different relationship with Laura. And that went really well. I could hear Oscar shouting, "Mom, done my nails." I was like, oh, I know. Because we're married. So yeah, touch wood, that will mean that both of us can kind of do that and kind of share that experience. So yeah, positive. I think that's probably that's weird, isn't it? Probably our best score of the bath since we've been doing it, and I didn't have to do the bath. I don't know if that's got something to do with it.
So what were you doing out of interest then? Were you like downstairs, like having a cup of tea, feet up, looking out the window because you could, or was you still around, or?
I wasn't. I must have been around because I could hear it. So I was probably dovetailing what Laura would normally do, so probably and making some dinner, probably for us. But yeah, it's nice because it's the option because Oscar's able to communicate his needs and sometimes says, "Oh, I really want Mum." We've been able to go, "No, Mum's busy." Because usually she's doing something while I'm doing something. NeuroDADverse households, right? Everyone's doing a bit of stuff, of everything. So yeah, we had a bit of a bath win. And I think mainly the reason I think it's a win, not is I was being a bit glib there. Like obviously I didn't have to do the actual working with Oscar, but actually Laura and I really kind of communicated well. And we're like, look, this is how I do it, but I appreciate you won't necessarily do it that way. But try this. Don't be in that hot environment that you don't like. Like they are a 13 and a half. You know, they're gonna they're gonna need to know this independence. So yeah, it's good. I think that's a 9.5, maybe.
Oh, big win. Love that. So
Be
you want a
fair,
repeat of that?
to be, yeah, of course. I think I'll do well. There's no school tomorrow, so I think there might be a little bit of resistance. But also I probably need to check that 9.5 out with Laura because she did the actual labour and I just did the other job, but assumed and perceived that it was a good one.
Well, I mean, technically, this is like from our point of view, isn't it? So you can say it's a 9.5 because you didn't have to do a lot of heavy
It's
lifting.
11 out of 10 because I didn't have to do the difficult thing. No, to be honest, I think we are going to keep Sunday bath throughout, linking those two last bits together throughout the summer, because it's important for Oscar to understand that it's not just get clean for school. And if we go to the beach, we'll have to have one after. So that will be out of kind of routine. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And we might even have to do some public, like showering at the baths, God's sake, at the swimming pool. Yeah,
Oh,
good.
no. Well, look, fingers crossed that tonight goes well then as well for your next bath time.
Yes. Like I'm gonna. It'd be nice if we go my next bath time. I might take the iPad in the bath, to be honest, just for myself. Melt away and just watch something. That'd be good.
Right.
That's weird. It takes us down the alley of when did you last have a nice bath? But I don't think that's the podcast. This is the podcast for that.
I was literally thinking the same thing, but I actually do mix it up. I do personally. Sometimes I'm just gonna have a bath because I just find it. I've always liked baths, but showers are obviously a lot more efficient and quicker.
Shut the door. Have a bit of you time. Be kind to yourself, right?
Get myself a scented candle. Just go crazy.
100%.
Well, I think like just if we're going to talk about it a tiny bit, then it's just the practicalities, isn't it? Like if you're trying to get them through their bath routine, sleep time is a challenge. Usually, it can be anything from half an hour to like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Don't really want to shower or bath technically at like 11
because
o'clock at night because you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
because
you
it's
just do it in
relaxing.
the morning.
I have done it before. I was like, I think I just need to relax, and the best way for me to do that is have a bath.
A bath.
Nice. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, if you're listening and you're a parent of neurodiverse kids, what do you do to relax, and how do you like find that time and space? Because as we said, it can be 3-hour bedtime routines. But yeah, there we go. Get in touch if you want to help us or give us anything to chat about. So that's about us done this week, isn't it, Dale?
I think so, mate. That was a nice short one. Well, we've had a couple of long ones the last few weeks, so which isn't a bad thing per se, but it's nice to have a time frame to sort of keep us on track.
Well, have a very good first half week of the summer holidays.
Yes.
And catch up with you about it on Sunday.
Looking forward to it, pal. Have a good one. Win the week.
You too, buddy. Yeah, you too. See you later. That's about it for the NeuroDADverse. We'll be back next week.
If you laughed, cried, or nodded in tired agreement, don't forget to follow us and leave a review. It helps more parents find us.
Just remember, you're doing great.
You are enough, and you are definitely not alone.
Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at neurodadverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves.